In southern Alberta, there are a lot of large-scale agricultural operations, including those that grow potatoes. But to grow crops like this, you need to use irrigation. Southern Alberta is semi-arid. It means there's not enough water to have this type of agricultural operation without that type of practice. And irrigation uses a lot of water. So with the dry conditions that we're expecting to see this summer, that has prompted a big conversation around the future of water. So we came down to this area of the province to talk to people involved in industry to hear what's on their minds as big decisions are made.
We rely on our center pivots to put the water on the crop. We pump water from our main canals and our pipelines into the center of the machine where it pivots around in a big circle. So with the pivots, we gain the security of having water supply year-round. Potatoes require anywhere from 15 to 18 inches of water a year to grow. Of course, we get some from natural rainfall, but most of it is put on by the pivots. The cost to the farm to obtain water from the canals is very low. But if we don't have it, it has a huge impact. The answer to more efficiency is storage, in my opinion. I mean, it only snows so much. In this particular area, that's the only way we can expand our irrigation acres, if we can store and capture some of that spring runoff. This year, the preliminary allocation that was given out about 2 weeks ago is about 8 inches, which is about half of what we normally would get. If we would only put 8 inches on our high-value crop, on a farm like ours, that would make millions of dollars worth of difference in revenue. So I would expect a major turnout at AGM.
Michelle was one of many attending an AGM for the St. Mary Irrigation District, the largest irrigation district in Canada. It was expected to draw big crowds with a potentially challenging farm year ahead.
So the darkest red is the most severe. This is stage 4 drought classification.
Tricia Stadnick has been closely following moisture conditions in the region.
The one on the left is from mid-February, and basically you can see that the snowpack was low in terms of a lot of red and orangish, but the one on the right is actually from April. And so despite all the snow that we've had and that people have been seeing and thinking, oh, well, maybe we're good now, you see a lot more brown. And that's really concerning because that's pretty much 0 to no snowpack. It's highly unlikely that we can avoid drought at this point because without the snowpack, we don't have the soil moisture, which means that the ground is dry.
At the AGM, the St. Mary Irrigation District said moisture levels and storage for the area were too low to increase allocation at this point. And it means irrigators will need to work with half of what they usually get in a good year.
Plus the fact that they were still predicting some El Nino type activity with drier, warmer weather throughout the spring, maybe into the summer, led us that we wanted to make sure we set an allocation that we feel we could service throughout the season. We're going to stay with 8 inches.
They take facts, they take snow pillows, precipitation, but they can't forecast the future. So they got to go about what they know, and all we can hope for is that it's going to snow or rain a little bit more either on the prairies or in the mountains.
Across the region, the water allocation will be filled differently based on different soil types and crops.
8 inches with any kind of rain will be fine, but if there is no rain, like last year, definitely. We'll see an impact on the grain. If you go towards the Tabor area, which is about 30 miles east of me, they're very sandy soil, and they're going to feel it a heck of a lot worse than I am. I can make it work, but those guys, man, if you're on sandy soil and you're trying to grow potatoes or alfalfa, it's going to be a hardship.
And this is all happening as the province moves ahead with plans to expand irrigation. There's nearly $1 billion set aside in provincial and federal funding for an irrigation system upgrade in the province, and that raises the question, does this make sense in this water-strapped region?
Very confident we can irrigate the same or more with less water than we have in the past. By converting to underground pipelines, we save on seepage, evaporation, and just spill out at the end of our systems, and that allows us to utilize that water for irrigation.
I don't disagree that technology is advancing and that we're going to get more water efficient. The problem that I see is I think we're going to need every ounce of that efficiency just to overcome climate change and these more frequent and longer droughts. And I hope that due diligence is done to really look at efficiency with a factor of safety, because the last thing we would want as a province as a whole is to spend millions of dollars, if not billions, retrofitting for irrigation expansion, only to find that the water isn't there to fill the canals or the pipes for that matter.
And the Alberta government is in the midst of what it calls unprecedented water sharing negotiations with major water license holders in the Red Deer River, Bow River, and Old Man River basins in order to avoid the worst impacts of water shortages. And results from those negotiations are due in mid-April. Joel Dryden, CBC News, Calgary.